Hey guys, welcome to the Lean to the Left podcast. Today we have a return visit from acclaimed thriller writer Jeffrey Archer, who's out with a new book. It's called Endgame. It's a nail biter of a thriller that's set behind the scenes of the 2012 London Olympics. It's a remarkable book that follows in the tradition of Archer's work that's included 58 books, 29 of them fiction, seven short story collections, three prison diaries, three plays, 11 children's books, among other stories. Now, Jeffrey comes to us from England, where he's based. He's just turned 85 and seems like he's just getting started as he's got a myriad of other projects underway. So, Jeffrey, thanks for joining us again on the Lean to the Left podcast.
Delighted. Nice to be on the show, Bob.
Hey, man, are you ever going to stop writing?
Yes. Endgame is the last of the William Warwicks.
All right.
The end, there have been eight of them, of course, and this one, as you rightly said, set in the Olympics. And that was caused by the fact that William Warwick is now a commander. And I took it to roughly the year where he would be a commander and discovered, of course, that the London Olympics were on. So I flew over to see Co in Monaco and asked him, everyone perceives the London Olympics as massively successful. Did anything go wrong? He said, I don't know, Jeffrey. The commander in charge of security will tell you that. So I flew back to London and saw Bob Herberts, quite expecting him to say, Bob, no, I can't tell you what happened. But 14 years later, he felt able to say, yes, 14 things went wrong that the public never found out about, would have been a disaster. One of those two would have closed the opening ceremony. The other would have closed the stadium on the third day of athletics, and I'd have had to clear it for 62,000. So I took those 14 things, put it into Endgame, added seven of my own, totally figments of my imagination. And I ask you, I put the reader up to the challenge. Can you work out which ones are real and did happen, and which ones were nothing more than figments of my imagination?
You're a sneaky guy.
Yes, I think that's right.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. Listen, you've sold over 275 million copies of your books in 115 countries. And that's not counting what's going to happen with Endgame, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So,
Endgame has sold 50,000 in the first 5 days.
oh my God, no kidding. Woo, incredible.
Can't grumble.
Oh, wow, that's something else. Now, you said Endgame was going to be the last in that series, but that doesn't preclude you writing about other stuff, right?
I've decided the next book will be the last novel I write. As you
Oh,
kindly pointed out, I'm 85, but then you're a stripling of 82. And I've decided, I came across an idea, Bob, 6 years ago,
uh-huh.
when reading a speech by Adolf Hitler. And I'd always thought his speeches were surely nothing more than bombast and shouting, to discover quite a lot of policy. And indeed, I then read the speech that Winston Churchill made in counter to it, and realized that on September the 15th, 1940, the World War could have ended, and no one would have known which way it would have ended, and it would have not continued. But Hitler changed his mind 3 times that day. I then studied three books by leading historians of that period and realized that the subject had never been tackled as a novel, and it was a bigger subject than Cain and Abel. So I got quite worried. That's 6 years ago. I've now done 17 drafts. I'm working on the 18th draft at the moment, and it will be published this time next year.
That's awesome. But that'll be your final book, is that right?
That will be my last novel.
Okay. How does it feel to be looking at that idea after all of this writing that you've done, all of these books that you've done, highly
Yeah.
successful career? Now you're
Well,
coming down to the end game.
it's strange because I got the idea 6 years ago for the final book, and I took it to my publishers. And indeed, I even wrote a 100-page outline.
Yeah.
And they said, drop everything, do it now. What they were politely saying is because you might not be alive when you're 86. And I said, blow that for a laugh. And I finished off the William Warwick series. I finished
Right.
off the last three, the one with Princess Diana, Fraud One, and now Endgame, and then began working on the new book. And as I said, I've done 17 drafts, and
Right.
I genuinely think it's the best thing I've ever done.
What's it going to be called?
January the 1st, it will be announced. I think the title is one of the best titles I've ever come up with.
Come
I'm
on.
telling you.
Share it with us. Come on. Come
No,
on.
not a hope.
You are mean, man.
A moment ago, you said I was a cunning man. I'll make up
You
your
you are
mind.
that too. Do you have grandkids?
You're five.
5 of them. Do they think
Three
you're mean?
boys, 3 boys and two. How about you?
Yeah, I do. I have 3 granddaughters.
You're a
Do
lucky
you?
man.
Do they think you're cunning or do they think you're mean?
I think the two girls are as cunning as they come. They have me wound round their little finger. I bet those 3 granddaughters have got you on the run.
All right. Now, I read that there's a possible movie in the future coming out with Endgame. Is that right?
Yes, the rights for the entire series have been purchased and the first script has been written, but you're an old pro, you know that you don't start celebrating until you're eating the popcorn. And frankly, you've been through that. I've now got 5 of my books in what I call pre-production. I wonder if I'll live to see any of them on the screen.
Okay. How does that work? Do you get a piece of the action?
Yeah, but frankly, between you and me,
Yeah.
no, the world is listening to this, so it's not between you and me. I haven't had to do a day's work since Cain and Abel. It's now on its 142nd reprint. I write because I love writing, and I would love to see. I've had 3 films, but I would love to see Cain and Abel remade, which is what Sony are threatening.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now your PR people tell me that you've launched a new book award in India. What's that all about?
For some time, I've believed there are many book awards for great writers, but none for great storytellers who are far rarer than great writers. And an Indian came to see me and said he'd like to launch it, and I thought it was a good idea. And it's in its 3rd year now.
Okay.
We've given 3 prizes, and it's very worthwhile because, frankly, as you will know better than anybody, Bob, the book business at the moment is not at its peak.
Correct.
It's doing well for a handful of authors,
Uh-huh.
but not many people can make a living. The average wage for an author in Britain is £16,000 a year, about $20,000 a year. So you've got to do something else. Most authors have to do something else. It's only a few who can actually make a living. So any award for a storyteller, for a writer, I hope will add to their chances of turning it into a career.
Excellent. Excellent. That's really good giving back like that. I admire you for that.
Thank you.
Now, you were a member of the House of Lords. How does that
have-
experience provide fodder for your books? How's that worked in the past?
I was a member of the House of Commons for some years, and Margaret Thatcher put my name up for the House of Lords, and then she was dismissed, and John Major kindly put it up a second time. And I'm, as I said, 85. You're meant to retire at 80, which is fair enough. I don't complain about that.
Right.
But I still go. I was in the House of Lords yesterday. I still take a great interest in politics, both here in Britain and internationally. I'm fascinated by international politics and try to keep up day by day. In fact, I had lunch today just before coming to you with Boris Johnson's head chief of staff, Lord Lister, Eddie Lister, which are, of course, fascinating. And yesterday, I spoke at Margaret Thatcher's 100th birthday.
Wow.
So it's pretty non-stop.
Wow. Wow. You really are a famous guy. Incredible.
I've been very lucky.
All right, now, but you didn't answer my question.
No, I avoided it.
You know, how has that helped? Come on. How's that helped with your books?
A lot of people say that I've had the privilege of meeting so many interesting people at first hand, both with Princess Diana, with Margaret Thatcher, with John Major, and I accept that. And of course, when you're writing a book, if you have that knowledge and you can add it without it looking planted, it must
Right.
be an advantage, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So you mentioned that you were fascinated by international politics. So what do you think about what's going on in the United States today with Trump and all that he's up to? And what's your overall take on his tariffs
I'm
and
fascinated
all
by
that?
Trump.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely fascinated by him. I think he's two people. He's one person who, probably the only person on earth who could bring the Gaza Israeli situation to where it is, which for him is an amazing triumph. And the following day can complain about his photograph on the front page of Time magazine showing his hair in the wrong place. He's two men. I just can't keep up with him. But to be fair, what he's done in Israel and Palestine is amazing. And I hope he can do the same in Ukraine.
That's true. It's difficult for someone like me who's been a Trump critic ever since day one to acknowledge. But the fact of the matter is, it's been a long time coming, this peace in the Middle East, and let's hope it holds. I really do. Now, your wife, Dame Mary Archer, she's chair of the Science Museum Group.
She did 10 years as chairman of the Science Museum, has just retired.
Oh,
Before
okay.
she was chairman of Cambridge University's hospital, and you're quite right, the Queen made her a dame. The late
Uh-huh.
Queen made her a dame, and she's had an amazing career of public service, is currently the Chancellor of Buckingham University, which of course Margaret Thatcher was the chairman of Buckingham University, and she's building a children's hospital in Cambridge, which will be the first hospital for the mind and the body. And
Wow.
that's her two projects. She is a mere 80 and is getting on with it.
So you married a younger woman, huh?
A remarkable woman. We will have been married next year for 60 years.
Wow, that's incredible. Congratulations. I was just wondering what you think then, given her experience, about Trump's takeover of the Kennedy Center and his desire to name it after himself and his wife.
Ridiculous. Why he gets involved in these minor things when he has the command and chance to deal with some of the greatest problems on earth is beyond me. Why bother with the Kennedy Center? It runs very well. It has competent people. It's based on mainly on people giving money themselves. It's a charitable organization. And then the next day he's dealing with Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then the next day he's closing down Chicago. And then the next day he's complaining about his photograph on top. He's two men. I don't get it.
A lot of us don't get it here in the United States, that's for sure. Except for the MAGA people, they just believe everything he says, doesn't matter what he says.
Now it's interesting you say that, Bob. What percentage of people in the United States think that when he says, if I shot someone in Central Park, no one would give a damn? What percentage of the American people believe that?
32%.
32.
It's 30 something. I don't know if it's
Wow.
32, but I've seen statistics, polling statistics, etc., here in the United States that indicate that his solid core of MAGA supporters is in the 30% range. And so I
So
would just say that it would be those groups, that percentage of groups that would,
incredible. So when he says that Zelensky started the war against Russia, that 32, 33% actually believe it?
they believe it. They believe it. You can't argue with them.
Good
You
heavens.
can't. It's just incredible. It's mind-boggling.
So he only needs another 17 and he can be elected for life.
Yeah, true. He could be. Because he doesn't care about the Constitution in any other way, so why would he care about that? Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about the Kennedy Center. It also brought to mind what he's trying to do with the Smithsonian and clear away references to slavery, as if that would wipe away that part of that horrible part of our past here in the United States.
It's your history. It's arguably the greatest museum on earth.
Absolutely.
Mary's opposite number kindly took us to dinner in London a few weeks ago, and we were shocked. Mary said to the managing director, as we would call him, the CEO, "What is your income per year?" And he replied, "Every chairman is expected to raise 1 billion. So he turned to Mary and said, "What is your income per year?" And she said, "If we get 5 million, we're very happy." And so we realized that they are truly one of the great museums on earth, but they rely on complete lunatics who are willing to give up their time, their money, and work damned hard to make sure it goes on being the greatest museum. And I salute them.
All right. Can we talk a little bit about some of the other issues, like climate change, for example, and his elimination of previous regulations to encourage clean energy? Is that something you're concerned about particularly?
My wife, when she came down from Oxford, worked for the Nobel Prize winner, George Porter, Lord Porter, and her thesis was on solar energy. So I've had at the breakfast table quite a good education. Of course, we're both shocked when the President of the United States said there's no such thing as climate change. You do worry that, and again, going back to the point I made, you said 33% of Americans believe anything he says. So my second question to you, Bob, is when he makes a statement like there's no such thing as climate change, do you think he actually believes it?
That's hard to know because he is so adept at saying what his MAGA core wants to hear that you don't know if he truly believes what he's just said or
Oh,
if it's just something that he's saying to curry favor with them because he knows if he doesn't have their support, then he's finished.
yes.
So it's very difficult to say. I personally believe that he believes it. I do. I personally believe that just because of his track record. And maybe he didn't believe it in the beginning, but I think he's convinced himself of it.
I can tell you that my dear friend Senator Bradley, who I was at Oxford with and indeed was an usher at my wedding,
Yeah.
I asked him the same question, Bob, and he said, absolutely, he believes it.
Then Senator Bradley would know a lot more than I would know. He's much closer to the scene than I am.
Yeah, he's not been a senator for some time, but that wonderful tradition you have in your country of continuing with the title,
Right.
even though a person is tried as something. You always call your former presidents Mr. President, former senators,
Right.
Senator, which I like very much indeed. I think it's very dignified.
Right.
So I always open, although he's one of my dearest friends,
Right.
we talk every other Sunday.
Yeah.
And I say to him, "Good morning, Senator." And and then we have a conversation for 30 minutes when he briefs me on what he thinks is happening in the United States of America. And then I say, "Goodbye, Senator. I know my place." He
Well,
says,
I
"Goodbye,
don't
my
know.
lord." He says, "But
Uh,
goodbye, my lord," but he doesn't mean it.
I'm sure he does. So, what do you think about the impact of all these tariffs that he's doing here in this country? Are they having any impact in your country?
In particular, what are you referring to, Bob?
I
Enough is
don't
going
know.
on.
It's hard to pick him out. He just announced what he's going to increase tariffs in China by 100%
100%. Yeah, I
over
saw
what he
that.
did before, and the stock market took a big dive here in this
Yeah,
country.
I saw that.
Yeah,
And then he's keeping the meeting with the leader of China when he'll come out of the meeting and say, yes, we're back to 0%. You can't know what he'll say tomorrow.
I know,
What
and
he did in Los Angeles.
it amazes me how the investors in on Wall Street don't understand that, and they react to every little thing he does, and the result is that the market just goes
Up
down.
and down. To be fair to the experts, it's how the general public are reacting. And you're quite right. They should say, look, take the long view. He will change his mind 10 times in the next 20 days. And I don't believe a week today or a week after he's seen the leader of China, that it'll be 100%. He
Yeah.
keeps changing immediately. He's seen the leader. Immediately someone comes to the White House. He said, here is my dearest and closest friend.
Yeah.
And yes, I will be removing it. Oh, no, don't know. But the other one that shocked me, and I listened to him say it, I couldn't believe it when he said it. He said, I stopped Los Angeles being burnt to the ground. That was a pretty good statement, Bob. I stopped Los Angeles being burnt to the ground. Oh, come on. Are you telling me 33% of the country believe that?
I'll tell you what, 33% of the country that doesn't live in California believes it.
Yeah,
They do.
yeah,
They
yeah.
they believe it.
No.
There can be. I have friends in LA, and I was talking to one of them the other day, and he said what he's referring to there's was like maybe a small area, like not even a block, a city block, where there was trouble, and he's causing all of this uproar over bringing troops in and all of that. And what he's doing in Chicago is just horrible,
Oh,
absolutely horrible.
yes, I was going on to say Chicago's next, but who
Yeah.
will be after Chicago? Because he just told us he saved Chicago.
Right.
Who will be next?
He's saving Portland, Oregon, too. Well,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. The mayor of Baltimore, Maryland, is putting in place provisions in case he decides to send
oh,
troops
you're not
to
serious.
Baltimore.
Actually preparing for the possibility.
Yeah, yeah,
Good
yeah.
heavens.
That was a news story in the Baltimore Sun the other day.
Good heavens.
Yeah, yeah. It's nasty here. It really is. It's getting nastier.
And what do you imagine will happen in 3 years' time, presuming you have a vice president, Mr. Vance, and you have a secretary of state, both of whom will want to be the Republican candidate? Tell me what's going to happen, Bob, because it's better than fiction.
Incredible. I don't know. I really don't. Question is whether Trump will even make it to three years from now
Why do you say that?
because of his health.
Ah,
And there are all these recurring stories. Every time he's not on TV for 3 or 4 days, something's happened to Trump. What's happened to Trump? Has he had a heart attack? Then there are all kind of rumors that come up on social media. You never know what's true and what's not. And to me, I think that there's some validity probably to the fact that he's got some health issues and he's in his 80s as well. Who knows how long he'll last, whether he'll make another three
he
years.
has amazing constitution. That trip to Alaska with Putin, and then the trip back to make a press statement, and then the trip back to Washington for a
Yeah.
man of 80 was staggering.
I've,
All the
I've been,
backup and help.
Jeffrey, I've been thinking the exact same thing. If he's in such bad shape health-wise, how can he do this?
Yeah.
I saw a video of him exiting the helicopter after this, returning home from this latest trip, and he was really dragging the way he was walking. And I thought to myself, man, oh man, I'd be dragging too.
Yeah. Actually, Bob, you must look very carefully indeed, because I do exactly what you do. I didn't get the dragging, but he can't keep a straight line. He
Yeah,
wobbles off a straight line.
yeah,
And I presume, to give him credit, I
yeah.
presume that was just because he was downright tired.
I think that that has to be a big part of it. It has to be. He struggles to come down the steps from the airplane.
Air Force One.
Yeah. And it used to be when Biden did that, all the MAGA people will say, look, how bad, how,
Yeah,
yeah. And now Trump is doing the very same thing and they don't say a word.
no.
Yeah. So,
It's called
anyway,
hypocrisy.
yeah, absolutely. Jeffrey, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Very kind. No, I love your country. I fear for it at the moment, but it won't stop me loving your country. You've been a great help to Britain over so many years, and Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan had a very special relationship, which I confess, Bob, I took for granted. I assumed the Americans would be our friends forever. And I'm very glad that our king has a good relationship with your president.
Yeah.
It's what's called soft power, and we don't underestimate it.
Okay. Jeffrey, thank you so much for being with us, and best of luck with your new book and everything else that you're doing. I admire you immensely.
You're very kind, sir.
Thank you.